we watched
Alrighty.
80 Minutes, starring Al Pacino.
Al Pacino. In full Al Pacino mood.
And Helen Hunt is also in this.
A.K.A. Lily Sobieski, A.K.A. Lil Helen Hunt. Helen Hunt Jr.
I just can't call her Lily. That's not a real name.
It's terrible. It's not a real name.
It's just like, okay, Lee's a real name, but Lily.
It's like L-E-I, right?
No, it's
Lily?
It's L-E-E-L-E.
Oh, that's bullshit. This is not
Sorry
a real
if
name.
anybody has that name, but it's...
Nobody else has that name. Nobody has it. Maybe an Asian one, like a Chinese person does, but not a Caucasian.
It reminds me of like Ling Ling the panda.
Yeah, it's like a panda. It is like a panda name. Like you would name your panda that, not your daughter.
Okay.
Anyways, this movie was great. I loved it.
I admittedly had to go on Wikipedia to read the plot after we watched it because...
It was confusing. It was not
like,
hard to...
what is
It was not
going
easy to
on?
follow.
It was not easy to follow.
Here's the things that you need to know about this movie. Al Pacino is an insane person. He's crazy in this movie.
He really is.
He's looks to be in his early 70s in this movie, but apparently he's still a sex god to all these people on this campus where he teaches. Is he a teacher? He does teach a class,
he's
yeah. He's like a professor slash...
Yeah, he's like a psychologist or something, but also...
Yeah, he's like an FBI psychologist, right?
But he's like a part-time professor.
Yeah,
like,
right, he's like an adjunct professor,
into
yeah.
the classroom.
And he's just boning like half of his female students, it seems like. And everybody wants to sleep with him, even though he's like... I don't want to say he's too old for them. Like
His hair.
He's wearing a wig.
Like this, are you sure?
That is a wig. He could
it?
not have that full a head of hair at his age. Like
it's like literally this tall, probably, right?
Well, okay, so
like
Al Pacino is probably like 5'2". He's a really short man.
Okay.
And all these other people are like towering over him.
Like Helen Hunt's like 6'2".
Right? Yeah, you're gonna call her Helen Hunt, are you? Aren't you? But no, he like his hair his pompadour, whatever it's called, like it adds like 8 inches to his height. So he's like a normal sized person with this ridiculous hairdo he has. Also, crazy. He's got a crazy fake tan where he looks like he's...
It was like the spray-on tan where somebody has like an airbrush gun. And
he looks Indian almost. Like he looks like...
Indian.
Yeah, he's really dark.
That's awesome.
Okay, so... How does this movie start? I have no idea.
This movie starts, okay, this was really blowing my mind because they were sisters, and whenever you see like...
Oh yeah, the Asian girl, that's right.
And whenever you see like actresses that you're not familiar with or actors, and they have like the same hair and the same skin tone and everything, you like don't know. Sometimes it's hard to tell them apart. Mm-hmm. And so we were like really confused about like whatever, but it was 2 Asian girls who turned out to be sisters.
Right.
And one of them like got murdered, like all crazy, while the other one was still
That's right,
home.
she like was hanging her up and like bleeding her dry and shit. It was weird. Right?
Yeah, so it started off with this murder, and the murder happened to be done in a very similar fashion as the Seattle Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
Who's in prison for these crazy murders, so he's like, hey, look, it wasn't me because somebody else is doing these murders even though I'm locked up, and he's gonna get executed.
Right. So that's like, definitely pretty ambiguous about the fact that he did this. Although, I guess... Eventually, it comes out that he still murdered them, and...
I don't know.
I think that Lily... Well, whatever, fuck this movie. So, spoiler alerts. Lily Sobieski, who is one of Al Pacino's students, turns out to be the killer. I think it's established that she's a copycat killer, though.
Yeah.
She's taking his MO and using it as her own. But... So anyways, Pacino is a forensic... psychologist?
Yeah,
but he acts like he's like a special agent in charge of like an entire
He has this like
city.
Lock room of files, and he freaks out when his secretary one of his files is missing, and he calls his secretary, and he is pissed. He's like, "Did you open my secret file room to somebody?"
No, it's like I'm gonna try to do it, Pacino. I said, brace yourself. Did you let somebody into my secret... I can't even do it. That's terrible. I can't even pretend to do that. Did you let somebody into my secret files area?
It's like his secret files area. And
Not
it takes like a fingerprint scan and like a key and all kinds of crazy
What'd you call
stuff.
it? Like, you would call it like an archives or something, right?
Yeah.
Or like my lock, whatever. Not secret files area, which is literally what he says. Yeah. But, okay, whatever. He's like this super... Okay, he's a psychologist, but he acts like he is a special agent and has all the authority in the world. He's like bossing, like commanding people to do stuff. You know, he's like in charge of this investigation.
He's like a freelance special agent.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
But anyways, he receives a phone call stating from a voice that has like a modulator on it. You can't tell who it is, telling him that he has 88 minutes to live.
It says TikTok.
By like 20 minutes into the movie, by the way, it was quite a while before he got that phone call, which was surprising.
I thought it was gonna be like 88 minutes from start to finish.
Right, the movie should have been 88 minutes.
No.
But no, it started like 25 minutes into the movie, he gets this phone call that he has 88 minutes to live. And then goes to class and starts doing a lecture and he ends up driving across, what city is this in?
Seattle.
Seattle, right. He drives across Seattle from like one end to the other and back about 3 different times in the movie.
Yeah.
In 88 minutes.
There's no way.
He's doing all this crazy stuff.
But, so I guess it kind of starts off with this call saying 88 minutes, and he goes to class where he's like an adjunct professor or whatever. Right. And his phone starts ringing, and so he like answers it, and it was like, you're down to like 79 minutes, TikTok doc.
Exactly, I was going to say, has to end with
hangs
TikTok
up,
doc.
And then he freaks out, and he starts like checking.
He
checks like everybody's cell phone, is yelling at the students, like shoving them.
Hey, you there, give me your cell phone. Like, that was a terrible, I can't, I just need to stop doing it.
It's okay. Then all of a sudden there was this bomb scare, but my issue was that, so somebody called in a bomb threat to the college, but the dean just casually walks in the back door and is like, hey you guys, there's been a bomb threat.
Hey,
we need to get out of here.
I don't know if you heard or not, but there's a bomb threat. Casually make your way to the exit.
I think you would like sound an alarm or something, but she's like clearly just taking her time going to each classroom, just like knocking on the door like, hey, what's up?
Tap. Oh, sorry to interrupt, but you might die soon.
I know.
They would definitely trip the fire alarm or like, there wouldn't be a paging system at a college, but fire alarm for sure. Anyways, this movie's insane. It doesn't make sense, but what happens next? It's such a jumble of stuff. It's like,
it really is. Like, the series of events are not clear at all.
No.
Oh, this is one of the craziest things, is that, like, they had CNN on or something. Okay, so he's, like, in his apartment or whatever, and he's watching CNN, and on on is the Seattle Slayer, who's currently on death row in his orange jumpsuit.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Talking, and he's like giving this whole like thing.
He's on like a CNN type talk show, right?
Yeah,
like,
and like so
from death row.
And like the anchors like ask him questions, and they're discussing it and stuff. And I'm like, this doesn't happen.
No.
If you were like on death row, you do not get to go on TV and be like, listen to my story.
But the next level craziness
is
that Pacino just picks up the phone. Get me CNN, and then while this guy is still talking to the anchor on CNN, Al Pacino is patched in, no screening process or anything, and starts debating a death row inmate live on television.
His guilt and
Does
stuff.
not happen.
No.
Does not happen.
It was insane, and they were just going back and forth, and the anchor's like, oh my gosh, we have Dr. Whoever on the phone. It's like, weigh in, and Seattle Slayer's like, these murders are still happening when I'm on death row, so clearly I'm not the killer.
And they're just like going back and forth at each other, like, it would get crazy, and it was a live event, and they would start cursing at each other, and like, that would be crazy. That was nuts. We looked at each other and were like, really? This is happening?
That was just like, I think that was one of the most outlandish things. Except for...
I loved it, though. It was great.
It was good. But, like, at the end, when Helen Hunt turns out to be the killer...
Oh, my God. Well, she's wearing that raccoon makeup.
She's wearing,
such heavy eyeliner.
The craziest, like, eye makeup. But she's also, like, in a really tight, like, black getup.
Yeah, like a cat suit.
And she has, like, some woman hanging by her leg.
Yeah.
Like, in... What do you call that? Like, it's not like an alcove, but, like... An atrium that's
it's like a
5 stories high.
It's like one of those like modern buildings that has like
this big open space.
Right, big open space in the middle, and this woman's hanging by her leg. Supposedly about to be desanguinated by getting her neck cut open, I guess.
But it's
this woman's still, by the way, she's still conscious.
She's still conscious.
She's been upside down forever, and she would black out.
And like her hip would be disconnected, and like I don't even.
She's hanging by one ankle.
Yeah,
by the way. It was
by one ankle.
Right.
Like her hip would be out of socket. She would be like in excruciating pain, like until she passed out.
She would have passed out very quickly from that blood rush to the head. Yeah, it would be over with. Anyways, Pacino comes in, and I don't even remember what happened. Like he like confronts her.
Came in with a gun, and I don't know, he told Helen Hunt what was up, and she was like, slide me your gun, and they were really far away, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, wouldn't it be funny if his gun didn't slide the whole way, and it didn't? It only
he slid it like 3 feet. She was like, you gotta be kidding me, please slide your gun. And she made him do it again.
The way this was shot made it look like they were not on the same set at all.
No.
Because they kept showing them very separately. It was like her, then him.
Pacino couldn't be bothered to make it to set that day. He's like, I'll do this from home.
And so anyway, in this like final scene, there's this big to-do because there's also a woman like hanging off of the balcony like by her hands or something, right? She's like trying to stay on, but there's also the woman who's hanging, so he has to make the decision of who he's gonna save.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He ends up saving the woman who's hanging by her foot.
Man, this movie was confusing.
It was so confusing.
And to be fair, we did watch this a week ago.
Yeah. And it was also crazy because there were like a lot of lesbian aspects too. You remember?
There's a lot of sex, like sexual aspects.
Like, they were trying to like eliminate suspects, and they thought that because what first happened? So the girl who initially got killed,
right?
She had been sleeping with Al Pacino, right?
The Asian chick.
Or the second person who got killed.
The second person who got killed.
The second person who got
killed. Yeah, the hooker. Yeah, the prostitute.
And she had been, like, with Al Pacino. And so he was a suspect.
The craziest part about this was, like, she gets killed and then blah, 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 he's a suspect. But then later on it comes back, oh, your DNA has been found in, like, your semen was found inside of her. It's like...
I was like, this got real really fast.
Whoa, like, be responsible. That is a prostitute. That woman is a prostitute.
He has like every STD.
Use protection. Yeah, gross. That is so gross.
In addition to like a bastard child, but luckily she got murdered, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's called a extra abortion, I guess. It's a double abortion. Killed the woman and the unborn child inside of her.
Oh my god. That's too much.
I know. This movie was insane. I would definitely recommend watching it though. I really don't have anything. I don't know any other parts that happen to it.
It was so hard to follow.
But
it really was. It was just a jumble of things. But the thing that was crazy is that they kept doing like the reminder of how much time was left and stuff, which I thought that was cool.
Yes, I didn't want to just like completely argue with you, but like it would have been cool. You're right. But they didn't follow it at all. Like, there was no bearing. Like, the amount of time left had no bearing on what happened in the movie.
It really didn't. It was just kind of a reminder that this was a progression of events and not just random stuff happening.
Like,
because it seems like random stuff happening.
I agree with you that it could be a good, like, plot device in the movie where it builds tension because, oh, he's only got 26 minutes left, whatever. But with 26 minutes in this movie, he could, like, travel from Seattle to New York and back. And still be okay. That's how much, like, he accomplished so much in less than an hour and a half.
And I feel like where we live, you couldn't even go to as many places as he did.
Absolutely
not.
not.
In a big city.
Traffic would be terrible. It's like he gets stuck in a traffic jam and then, oh, shit, I guess I'm dead in my car.
There was also a car blew up. So that was real action-y. And also, right after, this is what really threw him off the trail of Helen Hunt, is that after there was the bomb threat, he was like running to his car in the parking garage on campus, and he saw her like all bloodied up and stuff, and she's like, the murderer tried to get me. And so
this is so great.
This is like, I don't know, like half an hour in, so he's immediately like, she is not a suspect at all. And that was like really clutch on her part. I feel like that was a really good idea.
Did she like beat herself up, I guess? She was like fucked up. Like she got real messed up.
That was never really answered, but she was
the best part about that scene was him stopping every car coming out of the car garage. Let me see your hands! Let me see your hands! Like,
and someone's like, F you, man, and like runs him over.
Right. This movie is insane. Anyways, would you recommend this movie?
I guess so. It was just really hard to follow.
It's really hard to follow, but I think that the crazy bananas stuff, like the few things that we've talked about, there's few like select scenes, make it worth the while.
I think
it's not a long movie. It's probably an hour and a half.
No, it's like 2 hours.
No,
it was like longer than it should have been.
Yeah, it should have been 88 minutes. Right. But I mean, it didn't seem like a chore, like it wasn't interminable, but, so I would watch it.
But it was definitely a bad movie for sure.
It's terrible. Don't get me wrong, it's terrible. But Pacino makes it worthwhile. He's great.
Yeah.
Clack. Let's do it.